What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, you're gonna learn 6 reasons why it's way simpler than you think to start an online business in 2021. For those of you guys that are new, my name is Sean. I'm the owner of North Digital, a digital marketing agency based out of Vancouver, Canada, serving clients now around the world. And in this channel, I document my journey of building North Digital, and I help new entrepreneurs start their first online business. So if you're someone who wants to start an online business or are in the beginning stages, this video is for you. Watch all the way to the end. Let's jump into reason number 1. The first reason it's simpler than you think is because, contrary to what a lot of people believe, starting an online business, starting a digital marketing agency does not take a high degree of existing technical skills. In fact, you don't have to have any technical digital marketing skills at all to start. And even once your business has grown from inception to being successful, to generating you $10,000 per month, that still doesn't require nearly as much technical skills as most people think. And there's a few reasons for this. The first reason is that in this type of business, a digital marketing agency that serves local businesses in a physical location, the types of ads that you need to run to get them results on Google, on Facebook, on YouTube are, simply put, not that complex. And additionally, you're only competing with the people in that 10-kilometer radius, let's say. So while media buying and digital marketing does have the potential to be very complex when you're trying to scale to 4 figures, 5 figures per day in ad spend in campaigns that are North America or global, that's not the type of digital marketing you're doing when you're starting your first agency and you're building your first 6-figure business. You're running ads for the dentist down the road or the plumber down the road to help get him phone calls within a 5 or 10 kilometer or 5 or 10 mile radius. And simply put, the ads that you need to set up for that are not that complicated. And the next reason that feeds into this is the ad platforms. The 2 major ones are Facebook, which owns Facebook and Instagram, and Google, which is Google Ads, as well as YouTube Ads. They want more people to be spending money on their platform. And the primary way they earn revenues when people run ads on their platform. So they have made the ad interfaces and the process for setting up ads as simple as they possibly can to encourage more people to use it. So as a beginning entrepreneur, you can harness this and knock on the door of the business down the road, tell them, hey, I'm gonna help you get more business, use relatively simple ads, and go through Google and Facebook's guided creation steps to get them good results and get your first clients quickly. Reason number 2 is you don't have to be good at sales. A lot of people think that starting a business, you have to be a really good salesperson to do it. You have to be persuasive, you have to be confident, you have to be outgoing and extroverted, you have to have some sort of magic recipe and magic script about how to convince people to give you money and sign on as your client. And that's simply not true. The reason that's not true, and when I'm helping people start their first business, what I recommend is that you literally create situations that the potential client can't say no to, or it just doesn't make sense for them to say no to. So for example, one of the big milestones in starting your first digital marketing agency is getting your first client. And what I usually recommend is you offer to work for free to get that first client. So you're approaching a business and saying, hey, I'm gonna work for you for free for 30 days and see if I can help you. And that is the conversation that's had. And you don't have to be great at sales to end up with the client saying yes, because it just makes sense for them to say yes. You're offering to work for free. And then we use the proven digital marketing strategies to make sure you get the client good results that first month. And then in month 2, you're gonna see, because you were running the ads, okay, cool, we generated you, let's say $10,000 of value, and then you can price your services at 20 to 40% of the value generated. So let's say you go to them and say, hey, okay, we're making you 10K per month extra. Going forward, the management fee is $2,000 per month. And again, that's just an easy situation, an easy conversation to have. So there's no Wolf of Wall Street style sales where you're having to convince a stranger to give you money up front. All you're doing is creating situations where it literally doesn't make sense for your prospects and potential clients to say no, and then having enough of those conversations so that you build your client base. Reason number 3, you don't need a corporation, a business bank account, business licenses before you start. You also don't need to worry about how you're going to get taxed on your business, what kind of corporate or business taxes you're going to pay. All of that legal, accounting, administrative crap, you don't have to worry about at all in the beginning stages. And I'll explain that. The reality is, the type of business that we're talking about in this video, a bootstrapped, which means you don't take on investor money, digital marketing agency where you're in month-to-month short-term contracts with your clients, it simply doesn't require any of that legal structure to get started. And I see people get hung up on this, and they're trying to talk to lawyers and accountants and get their business account set up and decide on what they're going to call the corporation before they even got their first client, and it just makes no sense. The correct time to worry about all of that stuff is after you're making a couple $1,000s per month, and after you have some revenue come in and you've actually proven to yourself that this is going to work for you and it's moving in the right direction. Then you can pause and go back after the fact and set that stuff up. But you really don't need any of that before you start contacting clients and signing them on. I certainly didn't set any of that up in the beginning, and there was never a problem in setting it up a little bit after the fact. Reason number 4 is you don't need a website. You can start your business without having any kind of website set up. The reason for this is when you're talking to clients, they don't really care if you have a website or not. All they care about is if they think you can get them results. Now, especially at the beginning, when you're offering to work for free, they certainly don't care about the website. And again, this is what I see people get caught up with, is they think they need to build out their website and either hire someone and pay them money to do it or do it themselves. And you simply don't need this. Having a professional looking Facebook profile and a professional looking LinkedIn account is more than enough to have your brand presence set up to get your first couple of clients. Reason number 5, you absolutely don't need an office in 2021. Something that a limiting belief I've seen people have is that without a professional place to meet clients, without a professional looking corporate background for your Zoom calls, it's going to be tough. And now even the traditional business corporate world is 50% working remotely. It's absolutely not necessary to have any sort of infrastructure built for your business other than a fast internet connection, a laptop, and a cell phone in your house or apartment. And reason number 6 is you don't need any kind of formal business plan before you get started. Now, yes, you need a roadmap and action steps of what you need to do, which are quite simple when you're starting your first online business, but you don't need any kind of business plan like the kind you might have learned about in university. You don't need a mission and vision. You don't need a multi-year forecast or anything like that. And it's interesting because I did go to traditional business school, and I remember learning that you should build out this like multi-page business plan before you start your business. And while that is true in certain situations, let's say if you're trying to raise money and take on investors right from the beginning, but with the type of business we're talking about here, where it's just you and you just sign on your first couple of clients, get your first couple $1,000s a month rolling in, then scale that up to 6 figures, multi 6 figures. You don't need a business plan for that. You just need to start. And that segues into the conclusion of this video. And the reason why I put this out is I want to encourage people to simply start their business. If, I heard someone quoted that if you've been wanting to start a business, an online business, and you didn't start it in 2020, when literally you were forced to stay at home and the whole world shifted online, then maybe you're not meant to have one, or maybe you'll never start. And I think the purpose of that quote and that saying is simply that now is the time to start. There's never been a better time to take your financial freedom into your own hands and start an online business that's going to give you the amount of abundance that you want. Looking forward to putting out more content, guys. Please give this video a like, comment below what you want to see in future videos, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.